I am joined by the actress Virginia Hay. How are you doing
Hello.
this evening?
Terrific. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm struck by how much taller everyone at this event is compared to me. I'm feeling very, very, very small.
Oh, well, you'll have to wear boots with little heels next time or something.
I don't know if my girlfriend would like that, but maybe I could actually get on everyone else's level. I'll begin this by talking about your work on Farscape. You were one of the lead characters, Zahn.
Yes.
Can we talk a little bit about that? How was that?
Yeah, sure. It was brilliant. Yeah, did you see it?
Yeah,
did you watch it?
I watched it a little while ago, to be perfectly honest, but no, I really enjoyed the series.
I believe it's been re-released now. Well, I shouldn't say re-released, but it's probably not quite the right term. But I know that it's being shown again on British television.
Oh.
Which is really cool. It's also on, I think it's on some free TV networks as well.
Yeah.
Not quite sure. Everywhere I go, they tell me it's still on air, so I'm not quite sure how aware. But I'm sure those of you watching, if you wanted to figure out where to see it, you could go online and just, plug in Farscape and it'll come up in your local area, I'm sure.
Oh, wonderful. Now, you were the Delvite Princess Zahn. What was that like? Because you had to wear a lot of makeup. How was that?
Well, she wasn't really a princess. Priestess, yeah. She was, Delvian. She's Delvian, and she's 800-year-old priest / scientist, healer. Pretty cool. Amazing to play such a wonderful, iconic role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did wearing all that makeup affect you? Because I read somewhere that you had to shave your eyebrows.
Well, I didn't. The makeup artists shave my hair and eyebrows every day. They had to because I was the character for many years. If you're doing a role for a film, that's only about 3 months or 6 months or absolute maximum. Used to be in the old days, maybe close to a year, but these days they can film films in between 3 and 6 months. So you can wear a bald cap for a short stint like that, but when you're working for years, they have to shave your hair off because a bald cap, every time you move your head, it's going to crinkle and come loose and so forth, especially if there's a lot of action you're running around. So they don't have time in television to keep on stopping filming and coming back and plastering it down and sticking and gluing. And, it's really, they're very difficult to work with. So you don't see very many bald caps with TV, especially fast-paced TV like Australian TV. Yeah.
Well, what was life like outside of filming when you have to make those sorts of sacrifices?
You have no life outside filming.
Really?
Well, with Australian television, I don't know what it's like over here in the UK, but we work really crazy long hours because it's very fast-paced, and we shoot. A feature film is about an hour and a half, and a feature film will shoot for, as I said, 3 or 6 months. But in television, you're shooting an hour, which is the equivalent of, just almost the equivalent of a TV show, of a film, in 4 days, 4 or 5 days. So you've got 5 days, 4 or 5 days, as opposed to 3 months, 6 months, a year. It's a really fast pace. So the hours are very long each day. And I was in very heavy prosthetic makeup, which took 3.5 hours to apply. So before a 12 to 15 hour day, I was in the makeup chair for 3.5 hours. And at the end of the 12 to 15 hour day, I'd be in the makeup chair for an hour taking it off. So by the time I got home, it was about 10 at night, and I'd have to get up at 3 in the morning. So you're so exhausted when you get home because you've just worked huge hour, and the day before you've only had 3 hours sleep. So you've got to learn your lines for the next day. So honestly, when you're working with prosthetics, fast turnaround in Australia, with this kind of character, you sacrifice your life, pretty much, for your role. It's what we do in Australia. If you're playing a role that's pretty easy, you just roll out of bed and roll onto the set. If you're a guy and you don't need very much, there's hardly any makeup, and you just kind of roll onto the set. And then as soon as the set wraps at 8, you can drive home, and then you have a life all night long, and then you can go back to work. But for us, in prosthetic makeup, it was very difficult because you're getting up so early, long drives to the set, then working so late, long drive home. So yeah, there is no life. So you really give up your social life for the period of time that you're contracted. But in between the seasons, my hair would grow back a little bit, but I just lived with a bandana.
Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise you look like a freak. It's not like the 70s where there's punk all over again. And it wasn't like London where you could easily walk around bald and nobody would even take any notice of you because it's cool and unusual. But in Sydney, it's really pretty radical. So.
Well, you began your career as a model, I believe, right?
Yep.
How did that begin? Like, where were you scouted?
Funnily enough, I was scouted. A lot of models just choose to be models themselves and they contact agencies and they go in that way. But I was at a bus stop.
Yeah, I read this. I wanted to confirm this. So how did that come about?
Well, I was just standing at the bar. I was at art school and I was planning to have a career in... I was majoring in photography. I was studying fine arts and I was majoring in photography. And I wanted to go from there to... actually, to be honest, to making what we used to call music clips, pop clips back in the day. I don't know what they call them now, music videos.
Yeah, music videos.
Music promos or something nowadays, I don't know. But that's what I wanted to do and then move into documentaries and then film eventually. And I wanted to be behind the scenes. So I was at art school and I used to take the bus home every day and to the college every day. So when I was standing at the bus stop late in the afternoon, a lady spotted me and she approached me and said, "Are you a model?" And I said, "No." She said, "Do you want to be?" And I said, "No." Well, I didn't. I was at art school.
No,
it's not the career. If I wanted to be a model, I would have done that, you know. So she couldn't understand why I wouldn't want to be a model. And then she got me. She said, do your parents give you any pocket money? And I said, no, they make me work for, you know, obviously they make me work because they want me to appreciate the value of money. So I was working in a shop, in a clothes shop on Saturdays just to get some pocket money. And she asked me how much I earned. And at the time it was almost nothing. I don't know, $25, $30 a day. And she said, how do you feel about $150, which was a lot in those days, an hour? And so I said, oh, well, and I'm thinking, oh, wow, I could buy some extra books and I could buy, a camera, and I'm thinking along those terms. And so I said, yeah, okay, because it seemed to make sense to me to work for a couple of hours.
I would work for $150 an hour right now. Like, yeah. I would give this up. No, I'd be done.
So that's how it started. And then I realized that it was along the lines of what interested me, working with cameras and lighting and post-production and all of that sort of stuff. So started doing a lot of television commercials and was fascinated by the behind the scenes of all of that. And then one thing led to another, and then I was asked to, small community, don't forget, Sydney. Everyone knows everyone, so the casting agents get to know you very, very well. And it's not like now where no one speaks to anyone, it's all done over the internet. There is no personal contact at all. But in those days, there was personal contact. And in those days, the casting agents actually asked me direct if I wanted to consider acting. And I said no. Again, second time I said no, because it wasn't what I was thinking of. I wanted to go behind the scenes. But then I was talking to my agent, and he said, well, but that's a really great way for you to get a lot of experience, and you can work behind the scenes. After you finish your acting, you can work behind the scenes, which is what I did, for a lot of productions that I was involved in. And so it was pretty cool. So I started with Mad Max.
Do you ever think about how your life would have been different if you hadn't accepted the modeling job and you had just progressed as a photographer?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have been a photographer. I would have worked behind the scenes. It probably ended up... I wanted to start off doing storyboards for pop clips and then making pop clips. I probably would have ended up a director, which isn't so different from being an actor, in a way. It's equally as creative and complex. And, obviously... working with film and so forth. So it's not that far removed. It's kind of funny when you're, oops, my bag just fell down. When you're attractive, and I don't mean that in a, like,
I know what it's like to be attractive, don't worry.
Darling, see? You know what it's all about.
No.
But and you're young and attractive. I was going to say, when you're young and attractive, people keep wanting to use your image all the time, and they won't hear that you don't want to take advantage of the commerciality of your face or image. And so I kept saying no. Isn't it crazy? I know, it's so stupid. And people watching this will be going, yeah, how hard for you? Oh, poor you, you know. But it ended up really great. You know, I feel disappointed sometimes that I didn't get a chance to work behind the scenes. But I think because I had such a fascination for the whole process, it helped me in my craft now. But if I wasn't acting, I would still be in the industry. I'm pretty positive.
What projects are you working on at the moment?
Well, I just arrived here a few months ago, so I need some time to kind of get established and figure out, first of all, where I want to live. Because I'm staying in a week-by-week rental. I don't know when you're going to play this. I'll probably be settled by then. But just right now, which was March 2013, I just arrived a few months ago, and I started off in Wokingham. And then I went to London, and London's really different from the way it was 30 years ago. 30 years ago, it was super cool, really eclectic, incredibly artistic, and a lot of designers and fashion people and film people. And in the areas that I used to hang around in, Notting Hill Gate and places like that, and Fulham. And now it's so different. It's so expensive that all of the cool artistic people have been pushed out. And now I believe a lot of them are living in the east of London. And only the very, very, very uber wealthy, successful people are in the centre. So it was a little bit disappointing for me not to be able to go back to my old haunt, you know, because obviously I'm not a millionaire. We don't get, by the way, in Australia we don't get royalties or residuals.
Really?
Or merchandising, no. So the millions that come in with my name on them, as far as royalties for Mad Max, which has been playing for 30 years, and it plays pretty much every hour somewhere in the world, every day. And also, of course, Farscape and Prisoner and E Street and Home and Away and, you know, blah, 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 Bond, the whole thing. All of that has got royalties attached to it. And if I was an American actress, all of those royalties would come to me and I'd be a very, very wealthy lady right now. But because of Australian contracts, all of the royalties go to the producers. So they're very, 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 very wealthy. Not just from mine, but imagine something like Mad Max where you've got 50 different actors. All of their royalties are going to the producers. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I know.
When you think of it? And in another 20 years' time, it will be considered archaic and horrifying that the Australian business did that. But you get used to it when you actually live in a place and that they're the rules. You kind of just accept it. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. But so I don't know, to answer your question about what am I doing,
There's someone singing Living on a Prayer right now, and they are giving it their all. I don't know if the mics are picking this up, but it's fairly distracting.
But so I'm not sure what the plan is. Right now I'm visiting friends in Scotland, and I'm renting up there week by week. So I'm actually considering maybe staying in Scotland for a while, because it's quite beautiful up there. Or I might... I've also got my eye on Henley. Henley on Thames is
Henley's lovely,
amazing, but I also love Sussex. So right now, first of all, I'm figuring out where to live. Secondly, then I'll get into the industry over here somehow, somewhere.
Well, talk about getting into the industry here. What would your dream project be? If you could get involved in anything, does it have to exist?
Gosh, that's a really tricky one. I'd love to... Well, of course, dream would be to produce finally. Yeah. Going back to my original idea of producing or directing. But as far as an actor is concerned, I think... oh, gosh. Well, it's hard to know what's coming because I don't know what's coming. But
of course.
If I was to base my dream on something that's already been, it would be to play some kind of a superhero's mother or... You know, or like a co-superhero, but one who's obviously older, because I can't play a young superhero anymore. But yeah,
I don't know.
No. I couldn't. No, it would be impossible. I think definitely sci-fi.
Are you a big sci-fi fan then? Well, you wouldn't be here if you weren't. I'm sort of asking the obvious.
No, I'm a fan of playing sci-fi characters. And I mean, I love sci-fi, but I don't, to be honest with you, I don't have time to watch much TV.
No, absolutely.
And I really feel very frustrated about that because there's so many great projects, so many great productions that I'm missing out on. And people keep mentioning productions that I honestly just don't see. I can't, because when in Farscape, as I was saying, you know, crazy long hours every day, there's no time for telly. really at all. But favorite, I think my dream project would be, let's say, fantasy time, a cross between my character in Mad Max and my character in Farscape.
Okay.
Would be so cool, which would be a kick-ass warrior priest. How about that?
All right, no, I absolutely like that.
Superhero!
Well, one last question on the subject of superheroes. If you could have any power, what would it be?
The power to be invisible.
Really? That's interesting, because as an actor, obviously the limelight's on you all the time.
No, it's nothing to do with that. How cool would it be to be invisible and listen to any conversation, go anywhere and never be seen, witness anything, travel anywhere, go on any plane, go on any boat, wherever you want to go.
You're selling it to me, I have to say. You are selling it to me.
Into anyone's home, going on any set, going anywhere. I mean, it would be so cool.
Be the ultimate fly on the wall.
Yeah, it really would be, because you could really enjoy, but you would have the power to come back, you know. And
yeah, of course.
You wouldn't be invisible forever and ever and ever,
No.
but to be invisible would be amazing. Only not to hide from anyone, because I can do that. I just have to go home.
Yeah.
You know, if I want to, if I don't want to be around people, I just go home. But no, what I mean is to explore, and places where I'm not allowed.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you very much for speaking to us, Virginia.
Thank you.
It's been really good fun.
Oh, thanks. I've really enjoyed talking to you. And hi, thank you very much for viewing and taking the time to listen to me rambling on. So see you soon.